4 patients have died in Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis after their oxygen supply was cut off following a raid by Israeli forces. 6 other patients in intensive care and 3 babies are in a nursery are reportedly in danger. Catherine Norris-Trent, France 24 Special Envoy, joins me now from Jerusalem. Do we have Catherine? There she is.
Yes,
Catherine.
hello, Shona. I can hear you.
Checking that you were there. The UN is confirming these deaths. What is significant about that confirmation?
Yeah, this confirmation came from the humanitarian coordinator for the UN in the Middle East, whom we spoke to a time ago. This is the confirmation from the United Nations that there have been a number of people who've died overnight in Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis. That comes on top of the announcement earlier by the Hamas-run Health Ministry in the Gaza Strip. They said that 4 people had died overnight. And this is said to be due to patients in intensive care being cut off from the machines they needed due to a lack of electricity supply, a lack of fuel being provided for the generators of the hospital. The UN coordinator confirmed that. He also said that they should be getting authorization from the Israelis to supply the hospital with fuel later today. The IDF, the Israeli military, have said that they are continuing their operations in the hospital. They say they've arrested around 20 people they described as Hamas militants who took part in the attacks of the 7th of October. They said they found some weapons and munitions there. They've published a photograph which they say are those weapons. They'd said previously that they believe the bodies of Israeli hostages were in the hospital. As yet, they said they haven't found any evidence of that. But the situation clearly very critical in that hospital. There have been pictures on social media of corridors filled with dozens of doctors trying to move patients on stretchers through the corridors, and a great deal of concern for other patients in a critical condition, as well as civilians there, as the combats centre in Khan Yunis and around that hospital there.
Well, Catherine, meanwhile, Palestinians sheltering in Rafah, just south of Khan Yunis, are holding their breath. They're waiting for an imminent Israeli ground operation that is bound to cause significant casualties.
Absolutely. That remains a constant fear for the around 1.5 million people packed into Rafah. And just talking to the UN's humanitarian coordinator in the Middle East, he said basically there was no viable way that those people could be provided with the aid they desperately need if they are forced to evacuate from Rafah because of a large-scale military offensive there. He spoke about the difficulties in getting humanitarian aid there already as things stand, with an extremely complicated supply chain and people in desperate need. He also said that, these reports of the death toll above 28,000, according to the Hamas-run Health Ministry in Gaza, they could be set to rise much higher because of, secondary disease, a lack of food, so starvation, also waterborne disease, and people with chronic illnesses not getting the medicines they need. So the UN once again very much sounding the alarm and joining those calls from several countries around the world as other aid groups about the dangers of any large-scale military intervention in Rafah.
Catherine Norris-Trent joining us live there from Jerusalem with the latest on the situation on the ground in Gaza. Thank you so much for joining us.